Are you a single woman who's been living her very best life? Girl, me too. Get in here. Welcome to Empowered by Her Picket Fence. I'm Stephanie, and I'm not a celebrity or a social media influencer. I'm a single woman, a single mother, and a women's empowerment blogger. And it's time for us to come to the mic and let people know what's really good with single women. And you know this show is always going to keep it short and cute. So go grab that latte because we're about to get into it. What's up, guys? Welcome back. If this is your first time listening, follow the show and make sure you listen until the end, because at the end of every show, I do a segment called Girl, It's Time to Leave, which is going to keep you from wasting your time on the wrong guys. So let's get into it. This week, we are going to be talking about how to neutralize your inner spendaholic as a single woman. Okay, first off, I want to give a shout out to all my single ladies that are holding it down and are spoiling or treating themselves when they don't have a plus one. See, when you are relying on yourself to pay the bills and you have one income, the pressure is on. And a lot of times we buy ourselves this and that because there's nobody else to do it. And we want to spoil ourselves, right? We work hard. But there is definitely a fine line. And it's something that I wanted to talk about today. Because we are relying on one income, we can end up putting ourselves in financial jeopardy. And that's one thing that I struggled terribly with in my 20s and 30s living in New York City, because everything was so expensive. And I just had one income and it was tough. It really was. And I think it's important for us to talk about these things as single women, because so much of our financial well-being rests on our shoulders. Even if you are near retirement age and you are going to be retiring alone and you aren't married, we have to think about these things. Like, what are we spending our money on? And are we sabotaging ourselves in the future? Okay, so I want to talk about that today. Full disclaimer, I am not a financial expert, and this is not your regular finance show, anything like that. This is just a single girl talking about how to control her coins better. That is all. So I'm just putting that out there. But what is a spendaholic? A spendaholic is when you are low-key or not so low-key addicted in some ways to spending money. If it's treating yourself, it's buying stuff that you may or may not need, whatever it is, you probably do more of it than you should do or even want to do sometimes. How many of you get up in the morning? I know this is something I do. I open my eyes, I might scroll through my phone, I'm on Instagram, and I see a cute pair of yoga pants, and I end up buying them before my feet have even hit the floor to start my day. Scandalous. Scandalous, scandalous, scandalous. I'm down the rabbit hole and it's not even 8 a.m. And that's how easy it can be, right? That immediate instant gratification, like, oh, I've done something nice for myself. I've spoiled myself before I've even gotten to work. And then later on, after, I get my shipping, your item has shipped, I'm just like, did I need that? Then that's when the guilt comes in. And you know what I call this? And especially in my case, active financial sabotage. So I would treat myself to whatever I wanted when I was able to afford it. I would always just walk the line, not do too much, but do just enough so I felt spoiled, whether I was in a relationship or not. And I formed a kind of connection to this reward system I had set up for myself, because I figured, you know what? I'm taking care of myself. You're doing good, girl. Go ahead, buy that new bag, or you deserve it. It was a whole narrative that I created to justify my spending. Even when I didn't need to, I felt like I had a right to, because I was already holding it down over here. So why not, right? But that very attitude is what kept me from truly building as much wealth in my 20s and 30s as I could have. And that is one thing I will say to women. I'm Gen X, okay? But if you're in your 20s or 30s and you're single right now, those years are very important. You could do a lot of things with your money, but what really is going to pay off for you long term, whether you're single or married, is how well you treat your money. If you're saving, if you're investing while you're young, youth is on your side. So definitely take advantage of it. So over time, I had to develop a way to neutralize my bad spending habits. It didn't happen overnight. It's scary how long it took me to start reframing my thoughts around money and what I thought I deserved and what I thought I should buy and what I needed to do financially for myself. But this is how I started reframing my thoughts. I said to myself, I looked around at all the things that, I was buying for myself. And even some of the stuff, I have no idea like where all my money went in my 20s and even my early 30s. And I said to myself, what is enough? How much is going to be enough, Stephanie? How much is enough? And I felt like I wasn't really appreciating the things that I had. So I started to reevaluate things. One of the events that took place that helped me do this is I had a mini flood in my apartment and I had to move all my stuff out. Luckily, I had apartment insurance, but my floors had to be totally ripped up and replaced in my apartment. So I had to move into temporary housing. Like when you mess up your floors and they have to be replaced, like you have to pack everything up like you're leaving for good. And you move it into a storage facility for a couple weeks. And in my case, it was a month. And you take what you need and go into some kind of short-term rental. So I packed up all the stuff into storage and only took the things that I really needed, like my clothes, my important papers, my valuables, that kind of thing with me. And for a whole month, I lived with just those things. Didn't spend any money, just those things. I realized that we only really need a fraction of the things that we have. And that changed everything for me. When I moved all my things after the work was done in my apartment, moved all the things out of storage back into my apartment, I began the work of purging and paring everything down to the things I really needed. And that's when I became more discerning about all this money I'm spending on things. I began to celebrate having enough, having a roof over my head, having food, having clothes to wear every day. Maybe it's not the latest, but I have a couple cute outfits. I'm good. And I started working on replacing the things that would trigger me to spend, like feeling like I have to have enough versus feeling like I have enough already. Like I'm the person that would see that I'm down to my last little package of paper towels. And then I go out before I can even break into that last pack. I'm at the store like pre-buying so I never run out. It's that constant act of feeling like you don't have enough. So you need to go out and get more so you can feel comfortable that you have enough in stock without really celebrating what I had. It's an emotional trigger, that feeling of not necessarily having enough when you actually have what you need right now. So that's what I had to do too. And I also had to, in terms of some of the tactics that I use to like reframe my thinking around my spending as a single woman, I started seeing the value in aging my money, the beauty in watching my money grow, seeing how much I could not spend from one pay to the next. That was hugely rewarding for me. Like, how much of my money can I hold on to became the goal instead of what can I use my money to purchase for me to spoil myself. I also, in that time that I had to move out of my apartment, I became very clear on what's a want and what's a need. Yeah, you want that cute pair of yoga pants, but do you need it? Or do you have 3 or 4 pairs of the same pants in your drawer already, but you can't see them because you have so much stuff? And I realized also that the chill that you get from having enough and also having your money that has aged and that comfort of having your emergency funding and not coming up short, the chill that you get when that's not the situation, which is very easy for us single girls to fall into because we have one income, the chill that you get when your bills are paid and you haven't blown all your cash on something you don't need, that chill, that feeling has to outweigh the temporary thrill of that new pair of yoga pants. That's the reframing that I had to do. I had to chase the chill that you get when you're making your ends meet and you're not selling yourself short and sabotaging yourself financially for short-term things. We need to want that feeling. And that's what I would say helped me really reframe my thinking as a single woman. It becomes even more important as we save for retirement, that we're not blowing our cash on nonsense. So that's why I'm doing this show today, not as a financial expert, but as a single woman with one income that's trying to have a healthy relationship with money. And I'm sharing my experience. And I'd love to hear from some of you because the finance area is an area that I'm always trying to move forward and grow with. So I would love to hear some of your thoughts on how you've been able to save money as a single woman, because I think it can help us all. Because who knows, we're definitely not waiting for anyone to ride up on a white horse and save us, right? So we got to do it on our own and we can do this together. So hit me up, click that link and let me know what your thoughts are. Now it's time for Girl, It's Time to Leave. Girl, it's time to leave when he's selfish. When your man is selfish, he's never, ever, 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 ever ever going to make sure you have what you need. So you might as well be on your own. All right, guys, meet me right back here next week. And don't forget to hit that follow button and leave a review. And tell all your friends, because the single girls just got the mic.